Curse Boris Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. If you can see me, hear me, give me a thumbs up and say hello. Let me know that you can hear me, see me this morning, and that everything is coming in good. Let's see. Let's see. Say hello. Say hello, Kathy. I want to make sure that everything's working good. I'm going to check the live stream. Make sure everything's good on this end. Good morning, Nate, Martin, probably, Jim, Andrew. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Monday Market Buzz. Before we begin, I always like to get a sense of who's new. If you're brand new, say you're new. We always like to give our newcomers a nice, warm welcome because you are starting to learn that being prepared is very, very important. I actually was teaching my Total Edge Masterclass this weekend, and I talked about how the government shutdown has pretty much been priced in. And right now, we've all got to just focus on how to be prepared when the deal is announced and the U.S. government is reopened. And lo and behold, that is the biggest news today, which is that the U.S. government is near a deal to reopen. And when that actual announcement comes in, it's obviously going to be huge. And that is something that that we're going to talk about today, which is, how to trade the reopening of the U.S. government shutdown, because we've already, had plenty of opportunities to prepare and trade and bank and leverage the benefits of it getting worse, and then the shutdown dragging on, the impact on the economy dragging on. So now the question is not so much that, it is about what happens next, and that's really the story of trading. It's all about anticipation. So that's what I'm really happy to be able to share with. That's what I plan to share with all of you today. Now, what are you trading? I mean, hello, Armandi from Manila, sorry. Welcome to our live stream. What are you trading? Are you trading gold? Are you trading Forex? Are you trading indices? Let me know, because I want to make sure that I talk about all of them. I want to make sure I talk about all the instruments that you trade. I just started, Chisel, so I thank you for saying great show, but we're just getting started here. So, we've got a lot more to talk about. Gold, okay, wonderful. And indices. So what's really great is that in these sessions, we roll into live trading. So I prepare you for what to expect in the coming week, and we basically roll into live trading. So, that's everything that, we're going to look at, we're going to talk about. So we'll talk about NQ, Euro. I mean, that's basically, if you're new to trading, these are the three things people trade. They trade Euro dollar, sometimes dollar yen, gold, and indices. Now, some people, as they get more experience, may venture into some other instruments like the Euro crosses, things like that, and other commodities like silver. I had a really great video on how to use gold to trade silver on YouTube. Make sure you check that out. But really, if you're brand new, this is where to get started. So we are going to touch on all of them. We're going to talk about why gold is up today while stocks are up. Isn't this good news? That's all very, very important to understand and to know. And I think you being here tells me that you value the importance of all of this. Okay, so let's talk about this. Now, the number one biggest news today is obviously that the U.S. Senate is near an agreement to end the shutdown. This has become the longest shutdown ever. And it's finally possibly coming to an end. Now, before we get to that, I want to just, kind of make sure that you know the steps that you should take to start your day. So I'm going to share with you my screen. Just give me 1 minute. I'm going to share with you my screen. So every single day, all of you should start by looking at, the headlines. It takes like 5 seconds just to see what are the big news. Okay, 5 seconds is an exaggeration. It takes maybe like a minute to see what's the big news. Stock futures rise. The plan to end shutdown status is moving through Congress. This is the biggest news. Treasury yields rise as investors hope government shutdown is nearing. And this is the key news. Now, CNBC oftentimes is very US centric. So I always recommend that you also check Bloomberg.com. You don't even need a subscription. Just have the free version and look at the headlines. And you can see that also the headline is Senate advances plan to end shutdown after some Democrats agree to a deal. And, this is the big story that Fed's daily urges open mind and discussion of further rate cuts. If you want, you can read that further. But you need to start your day by knowing what is the biggest news of the day. And it takes 5 seconds for you to go to Bloomberg.com, CNBC.com. That should show you how you should start your day. Now, if you want to take it one step further, I always recommend to go to Financial Juice. Financial Juice does a really great job of giving you kind of the details. Now, it's almost too much detail. I mean, there's a lot of stuff here, and you can just kind of scan through it. This probably takes a minute to just go through all of the major headlines. Make sure that you're not missing anything globally, that you're not missing, for example, State Secretary Rubio is visiting Canada later this week. Maybe we'll have some sort of progress on trade agreement that could be good for the Canadian dollar. And just looking at Financial Juice, starting from the top, you can see that, the U.S. removes Aero China electronics trading from the entity list. Just over here, you can see, where is this? There was something else related to China. We look forward to U.S. continuing to work with China and jointly maintaining a fair competitive environment. So minimally, that nothing has gone wrong with the U.S.-China relationship over the weekend while you're sleeping. So as good habits, I always recommend that you start your day looking at CNBC.com, number one. Number two, looking at Bloomberg.com just to see what the main headline is. Then check Financial Juice. And then, of course, check me. As every single day in the morning around 7:30, I'll be posting the main headlines and the main stories. So that should be your good practice when you start your trading day. So now you know that the biggest story of the day is that the U.S. government shutdown is nearing an end. So the question to ask ourselves is, what does this mean for our trades, our positioning, for how we should be looking to trade in the week ahead? So the first thing you have to realize is that the deal is not done. You can see shutdown nears end. Shutdown is not over. Right now, if you read any major media, you'll know that the Senate has passed its first procedural vote on a deal. So they actually have to pass their full vote, and then it goes to the House, and then it goes to President Trump to sign into law. Now, if the Senate approves it, the House will probably approve it, and it's probably go all the way to President Trump's desk. So really, the sticking point has been the Senate, and that vote is happening today. So that vote happens today. House will probably take up the vote tomorrow, and President Trump will be more than eager to sign it as soon as it reaches his desk. So we may have another 24, 48, maybe 72 hours, but I'm thinking it's probably 48 hours maximum that before we get a deal, unless of course it goes wrong. So let's just get rid of we don't need that right now. But if we look at the daily charts, you will see upper right-hand corner of my charts, stock futures, my watch list, stock futures are up across the board. NASDAQ is up 1.5%. Dow futures, S&P futures, they're up. US yields are up. Gold is up. Currencies, in the most part, are up as well. Not up as much as you would think. I mean, euro is pretty much flat. But for the most part, we have a risk-on rally. But there's a little bit of cautiousness, right? I mean, you can see the NASDAQ candle looks big, but, we haven't recaptured these highs yet. And the Dow futures is only up less than 0.5%. So it's up, but definitely, not up here where it should be if suddenly a deal was announced. ES is that up more, but this is not a huge candle. This is not this. It's not these. It's not completely priced in to the good news. And that I think is important to realize, to take into consideration. U.S. Treasury yields are up because the U.S. government shutdown ending is obviously good for the markets. Now, gold, on the other hand, is up very nicely. I mean, gold, for my gold traders here, where are my lines? You can see, triangle, roughly drawn triangle here, clear, beautiful breakout to the upside. And I'm sure the breakout's accompanied by good volume. And this is a very, very strong move. Now, this move is not in sync with the move in stocks, right? I mean, if you think about it, if the US government shutdown contributed to this massive rally in gold, and I mean, what drove this massive rally in gold? It's basically three things, right? What drove gold rally, right? It's number one, it's tariffs. Number two, it's Fed rate cut. Number three, it's U.S. government shutdown. Now, the question to ask, now we're asking, can this rally last? In order to answer that question of whether this rally can last, we kind of got to go through the drivers of the rally. What caused this rally? Tariffs. All right. So tariffs are still in place, but the big kahuna, US China, they've made an agreement to pause the tariffs for a year. So, there's definitely good news in that front. Fed interest rate cut. The last meeting for the Fed, they cut interest rates, but they said December is not a guarantee for an interest rate cut. Now, what do you think? I'm going to take a poll right now. Do you think that the Fed is going to cut rates in December? Say yes or no. I love this interaction because I love to take these interactive polls. Let me know. Do you think the Fed is going to cut interest rates in December? And then number three, U.S. government shutdown. We are nearing an end of U.S. government shutdown. You would think that this should be bearish for gold, not bullish for gold. So wow. I mean, I'm looking at your answers. It's half and half. Half of you say yes. Half of you say no. I mean, Gloria says, oh, yes, baby. I'm going to add the word baby in there. But there's a lot of you that say no. And I think that this is really the sticking point, which is that the market still thinks, so tariffs, yes, they're here, but they're not as bad. And the Chinese tariffs are delayed. And from the headlines, we saw some good headlines between China and the U.S. this morning. And in the past, we have read these headlines and they were not good. And that led us to be early in anticipating a dissolution of the U.S.-China trade relations. But today, we've got good news. So this is moving in the right direction. The U.S. government shutdown is moving in the right direction. But some of you think that they will not cut interest rates in December. And if that's the case, they're not going to cut interest rates in December, and we got all the other things that are resolved, then in many ways, gold is popping today because it's risk on, and I'll explain that in a minute. But in many ways, people may end up selling into the rally. And if you're selling into the rally, what points could you sell into the rally? I mean, this is a huge resistance level in gold right up here. And so maybe we may have a little bit more extension to gold up here, and you may sell into these spike highs here. Maybe a good opportunity to sell gold. Or we can look at mini fib retracements. You always want to combine fundamentals with technicals. If we look at a mini fib retracement, somewhere around 50% fib of this, maybe probably 61.8% fib. I wouldn't give too much credence to this 50% fib because it's right between the range, but the 61.8% fib is right at this low here. So somewhere between 4160 and 4190 is probably where the sellers for gold will come back in. So if you think that that the Fed is not going to cut interest rates in December, tariffs are already priced in, U.S. government shutdown will end, then, you should be looking to sell around these levels over here. Now, this week, why is gold rallying today as stocks rallying? Because, Kathy tells me I know that gold is supposed to be safe haven. So if we have good news, gold should not be rallying. It should be selling off. And the reason why gold is rallying is because, within this huge move here, gold has become a speculative bet. It has gone from a safe haven to a speculative bet. And given that it's gone from a safe haven to a speculative bet, when the markets are getting some good news, traders like, maybe, and most importantly, they're seeing a lot of traders that trade just on technicals. So they're seeing this breakout in gold and then looking at blindly triangle breakout in gold. Triangle breakout in gold, probably like if we put in volume, probably really good volume on this breakout. You can see the volume spiking. I don't know why it's not a bar. But anyway, you guys see a volume spike on this. They just buy blindly. And that is probably the wrong thing to do, because I think this is nothing more than a technical bet. And that, it's really is probably just based upon speculation that's driving it higher and not real reason. Now, for those of you that think that the Fed is going to cut interest rates in December, as you can see from your cohort here, half of them don't think that the Fed is going to cut rates. So that is where the element of surprise gives us trading opportunity. And that is where the December interest rate, it proves to you that the December interest rate cut is not priced in, because half of the people here don't think that it's happening. And if we check CME Fed Fund futures, let's see if they agree. This is the CME Fed Fund futures. This is what is officially priced into the market. It is officially what's priced into the market. And you can see that the market is pricing in right now. Interest rates are 3.25%, 4%. Market is pricing in only a 64% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut at the next meeting. So greater than 50-50, but pretty close to 50-50, especially since a month ago. It wasn't even a month ago. It was probably 2 weeks ago that it was at 92%. So, there could be a huge element of surprise as the data starts to come in. So now we ask the question of, we know that we're getting close to a U.S. government shutdown deal. We know that chances are it's going to happen this week. So how do we trade? Well, the best guess, I guess, of how we trade is we look at what happened last time. What happened when the last longest U.S. government shutdown ended? What happened at that time? Well, the last time the U.S. government was shut down this long was on January 25th of 2019. That's when the U.S. government shutdown ended. So let's take a look. I love to look at what happened in the past. Of course, history doesn't always serve as the best guide, but it is the best guide that we have. So let's look at the S&P 500, and we're going to go to January. Let's see, almost there. January 25th, 2019. So here we are, 2020, 2019. All right, January 25th. This was when the last longest shutdown ended. So let's just get like maybe from the 20th to, I guess I could have been more efficient and just typed it in, but I was distracted. Let's get that to maybe February 15th. All right, see what we got. All right, so this is, look, it did not do it for me. What happens there? 19. That's why sometimes I just like to scroll back manually. Could be that we don't have the data going all the way back there, but we'll see in just a second. There we go. Now it worked. All right, so now we're going to zoom in. So lead up, selling before the beginning of the year. One second. And then let's find January 2019. Sorry, January 25th. So let me put my arrow there. This is January 25th. This right here. So this was the run-up. This was the run-up to the U.S. government shutdown. Stocks fell. So stocks were falling in the run-up to the U.S. government shutdown. All right. So remember, it was 30. It was over a month. So it started happening over here. And actually, no, it started happening over here. And then we had the U.S. government shutdown end. And in this case, you can see with the S&P that there was, a little bit of a run up leading up to the end of the U.S. government shutdown. On the day that the U.S. government shutdown ended, stocks popped higher. Then they retraced the 2 days afterwards before continuing its move. Now, the situation in 2019 is very different from this. The economic backdrop in 2019 was very different than the economic backdrop at this time. And so, we could see whether or not, I don't remember whether or not the Fed actually was cutting interest rates. Fund. Let's see, Federal Reserve rates. Hold on, I'll look at my other sheet. All right, so anyway, we're going to look at, so it looks like the government shutdown was good for stocks, but what this tells you is that you probably don't want to buy into the euphoria of the U.S. government shutdown date. You probably want to wait for a retrace before getting in. Let's take a look at gold. Taking a look at gold, if we go to the same period, 2019, 01, $20. And then let's go 2019, 02. We're going to go to that date. So let's see. In 2019, January 25th, let's see. Look at this. Just like the movement we're seeing today. U.S. government reopens, gold pops up, and the rally lasts for a few days before it pulls back, and then it continues again. Now, we were in a very different backdrop in 2019 as we are now, because the Federal Reserve had not begun to cut interest rates until July. So it was many, many months later. So there was, maybe there was some talk that we could get we could get a interest rate cut, but that really didn't come until much later. And as another point, Newton points out, gold in 2019 was before the Russian sanctions. So we did see an extension in gold before a consolidation. And I think this could very much be the similar scenario, although I think that consolidation could turn into a pullback if we do not see the Fed actually cut interest rates in December. The reason for that is you get the continued risk on, and then you get the pullback, and then you get the real story finally moving it higher. Now, let's just go to the dollar index as the last one to take a look, and then I'll explain everything in terms of the game plan. So we're going to go to 2019, and we're going to go to 2019 here as well. I'm going to go to February. All right, here we go. So February 25th, 2019, the dollar index. Today, the dollar is mixed. It is lower against some currencies, higher against others. This was the day that the U.S. government shutdown ended. So the day that the U.S. government shutdown ended, in the run-up, we had a dollar rally. The U.S. government shutdown ended, and we had a pullback in the dollar before the dollar continued its course. And I think the dollar pulls back because you get risk on flows. So now let's fast forward to today. What is the game plan? We're looking at MNQ right now. So I don't think there was too much we could take out of this of the previous price action, but there is a couple of things that we should be prepared for. So when the US government shutdown ends, this is what I anticipate. Well, first, let's say this week, before the US government shutdown, this week, before announcement. So we probably have another 48 hours, I think. I think that stocks will rally, stocks will rise more. So I think there's more upside to MNQ, to ES. For those of you that are trading it, I think that gold will rise further. And I think the dollar, except for dollar yen, which is a risk on currency. So dollar yen will rally, and then like euro dollar and the other currencies will rally as well. So the other risk on currencies, although euro has a bunch of data this week, but euro, Aussie, let's just say risk FX will rally. But, the US government shutdown once, and this could last, because if you think about it, the US government reopens and the can is kicked down the road to January. So it really doesn't become an issue again until December. So the markets can move on. Traders can, hopefully US data will start to come in, and, maybe Americans, their confidence are returning, but it's still, I think, we're nearing the end of the year. I think that people are going to sell into these moves as they think about whether or not the bigger fundamental backdrop, like overall corporate layoffs, like overall economic slowdown, maybe the Fed not cutting interest rates, maybe the non-farm payrolls report showing weakness. They start to worry about all of that. And I think the shutdown ends, we're going to get, that we're going to get a top in stocks. We're going to get a top in stocks before the end of the year. So people are going to sell into the rally. I think gold will rebound, consolidate. And so, one second, I'm getting like some sort of emergency text I need to respond to. 1 second. And then I think that the dollar yen will fall. I definitely think dollar yen will fall. That's one of the trades I'm really looking over to. And then I think risk FX will fall as well. So this is more of into end of year. This is this week before the announcement. So as your game plan, I think we'll see, up until the day of the government shutdown, we're going to get number 1 to 4. And then once the US government shutdown is official, you get a little bit of pullback, maybe a little bit of euphoria, and then some further continuation. So that is going to be my game plan and my thinking for the week. And I'm going to be utilizing my technical zip and things like that in order to take advantage of that. By the way, for those of you that don't know, and Boris is going to share this with you, we have a webinar coming up at 7:30 a.m. on Thursday. It's completely free. And it's basically how trading strategies and, basically ideas on how it's a masterclass on how to make consistent trades. So make sure you register for that. Join us. It's completely free. So, we're going to drop the link to this this free masterclass at 7. Is it 7:30? Let me double check the time. I'm pretty sure. Let me click on the link for us. Why don't we click? I can't click on the link here, but I'm going to. You can Discord it to me and click on the link.
The link. Where's it? 7:30 in the morning, guys. It starts.
Can you just Discord it to me, Boris?
Sure.
Because I can't click on the link in StreamYard. But yes, make sure you join this class because it's going to be very valuable, and it's going to be talking about
guys. I'm going to put a pin. I'm going to pin this link to the top of the chat, so it will be available for the whole session today as the primary link. Okay, I'm just going to pin it right now so you guys can always find it right then and there.
And if you can't make it, don't worry, because we're going to record it and we will send it to you. So make sure you register. These are all the wonderful things you'll learn. All you need is your name, email, address, and then lock in your seat, and then you're done. So Many of you, so many of you, want me to talk about Trump's $2,000 stimulus check from tariff revenue. Yes, he has announced, and for some reason it's not making the headlines, but Trump has announced $2,000 stimulus check from the tariff revenue, and it's unclear because this, first of all, needs to be passed by Congress, and secondly, it may not come. I'm not sure. Maybe Boris can weigh on this. I don't know how quickly this is actually going to come. I don't think that. Do you have any thoughts on this, Boris? How quickly this?
Yeah, I don't have any. I don't have any thoughts on this because I don't know exactly. It has to be passed by Congress. I think everybody's in a wait and see mode. Trump says a million things and then one of them comes true. So you have to just not jump at every single headline that he puts out. So that's why I think.
Most importantly, it's as traders, it's really about timing, right? And I think we don't know what the timing is, and it was only announced yesterday, and then the said on Sunday that he has no idea what this is. And so, well, he didn't use those words, but he said, he has not spoken to the president about the check, and that if that it could come in many forms if that's the case. So I think it is certainly not hurting the markets. It could be contributing to the markets, but as we talked about earlier, markets are not up that much. They're up a little bit. I mean, Dow futures should be up 300 something points. Yes, NASDAQ is up a lot, but I think that the market, they want to see the government shut down first. They want to see the government shutdown end first. And then they'll shift to see whether this is going to become reality. So I think it's a one step at a time thing. And they still need to see, I think we'll get more headlines about this. We'll learn more about it. It was just announced yesterday. And I think there's nothing concrete enough for the market to really get overly excited right now. And right now, it's all about the U.S. government shutdown. That certainly would be good news if it comes to fruition. But it really depends how it's structured. If it is some sort of credit against the American Affordable Care Act, then it's less tangible than actual $2,000 check that everyone's going to get. So it really depends upon the structure that it's coming in. And I think everyone's waiting to see whether that is the case or not. So anyway, this is the game plan for the U.S. government shutdown. Make sure Boris has pinned the webinar that we are doing, the masterclass that we are doing on Thursday at 7:30 a.m. Make sure you join this masterclass. And then what is going on this week? Let's take a look at the calendar. In terms of
sorry, I'm just going to chime in. A lot of you guys are watching this on Twitter. I'm going to put it on Twitter as well, just to make it easy for you to click that link. So please be sure to register, because even if you can't attend, because I know it could be early in the morning, we're going to send it to you. If you register, you'll have the full video of the presentation. It'll be really valuable.
It's not that early in the morning. We have time change here in the U.S. So I think for a lot of our friends in the rest of the world, it's actually
the rest of the world is great. Yeah,
palatable time.
The only tough time this is for West Coast U.S. But for everybody else, it's going to be awesome.
Yes. But West Coast U.S., if you're a trader, you know that you've got to be up anyway at 7:30 a.m. because data comes out at 8:30. If you're West Coast and you're serious about trading, I think you got to be up. But anyway. Point that I want to make is what's on the calendar. First off, not much for the U.S. Last week we had ISM manufacturing, we had ISM services, we had ADP, we had Challenger, and we look at the calendar. I'm just going to filter to you just to remind you how it all went down. ISM manufacturing, the numbers were ugly. ISM services was pretty good, and the employment component actually improved. ADP was up, but these are hardly wonderful numbers to write home about. Challenger job cuts, worst November, I think it was said, in 20 years. So we're definitely seeing layoffs. The consumer sentiment index, a huge drop there. This is what a lot of people say motivated also maybe lit the fire underneath Congress to get a deal done. And so, make sure that you join, make sure that you are aware of that. But this week, what do we have? This week, we don't have much. We have a whole bunch of Fed speak, which we'll continue to listen to because we really have no idea what the Fed is going to do. And then we were supposed to have some very important data. It's supposed to be a huge week. We're supposed to have inflation and retail sales. That's not happening. None of this stuff is happening. So it's only Fed speak. So we really have zero on the calendar except for Fed speak. But of course, we have the government shutdown headlines to focus on. Tomorrow's a bank holiday. That means that the U.S. bond market is closed, but the stock market is open. For me, as a trader, I don't know how Boris feels. Maybe you want to chime in. When the bond markets are closed, it's really, there's not really
it's going to be the bond market bond market is key money in terms of credit for the stock market. So it's probably going to be a very sloppy day tomorrow. I don't know how much work we're going to do on the stock market.
Exactly. As a trader, I always say it's very important to know when to trade, when not to trade. And one of the times we don't trade is holidays. And so when we've got a bank holiday, one of the things that you have to be aware of is that when we have a bank holiday, you either don't trade or you want to take smaller positions because there will be less follow through. Because as Boris said, usually with the bond market, and my traders, all of you that are listening, the importance of bonds driving everything. So when the bond markets are closed, we don't have that guide. And so there's a very good chance that we could have consolidation. I mean, like I said earlier, I love to look at history. When was the last Veterans Day? Let's see, 2024. Last Veterans Day 2024 was Monday, November 11th. And we're just going to take a little quick peek just to see how things were on Monday, November 11th. So Monday, November 11th. And we're going to go to the 16th. Monday, November. Why does it not do that for me? Anyway, we'll just go over here. So Monday, November 11th. Where are we? This. Let me ask you, looking at this chart in retrospect, regardless of whether you think history is important, would you trade up? Would you, if you knew the day was going to be like this candle in the NASDAQ, would you trade? Give me a yes or no. We're going to look at gold. Yes or no? If you knew the day is going to be like this in the NASDAQ, yes or no? Should you be trading tomorrow? Let's go look. Now, of course, we got the U.S. government reopened tomorrow. You never know, but that may not happen. Let's see, November 11th. While you're giving me your answer to let me know that this is settling in, it's, mattering to you. Look at this. Gold is moving. Stocks aren't moving, but gold is moving. Most of you, yes, no, all over the place. Relative. Gold is moving. Let's, now I'm just curious. Let's say 2023. Well, 2023 is a Saturday, so that didn't matter. But when was it observed? Let's see. It was probably observed on Friday. So Friday, November 10th, 2023. Since we're here anyway, might as well look. Friday. Ooh, I mean, it looks like if you're trading gold, bank holiday is really good for gold. It doesn't matter in terms of volatility. Let's just look quickly at MNQ. Where am I? We're looking at November 10th. Right here. Sorry, this is 2020. I'm pointing in the wrong day. Sorry. November. So we're looking at in 2024. It was November 11th. It's the same type of candle. So this consolidative. So November 11th, the same type of consolidation candle. If we go back to 2023, it was on a Friday that the markets were closed, November 10th. So actually, it was a big day, but this is also Friday, first Friday of, it wasn't the first Friday of the month, but it's also a Friday, big move. So I would say it's now looking at it, maybe it's not so bad. Let's see, about November 2022 was probably somewhere around here. It's a tough call, as you said, and that's why I personally will be taking smaller positions. It's hard to say whether or not it matters or not, but for gold, it looks like we could have a big breakout. The lack of participation could lead to a bigger breakout in gold than usual. All right, so what else do we have going on? Aside from that, we have this week a lot of data for the Eurozone. We have today, we have nothing really going on. We have Australian business confidence tomorrow. We have UK jobs report. Remember last week, the Bank of England met. It was a very close call. They left interest rates unchanged, very close call, raised the possibility of an interest rate cut in December. We had the German zoo survey, which is actually expected to be stronger. Believe it or not, Eurozone data really hasn't been that terrible. It's actually been kind of good. On Wednesday, we have absolutely nothing going on until Wednesday night when we had the Australian jobs report. And the RBA, last time they met last week, they pretty much told us that they were done. Thursday, we have UK GDP numbers. Those numbers are expected to come in weaker, probably going to come in weaker given the dovishness of the Bank of England. We are not getting any of this US data at all. We have business PMI numbers from New Zealand. We have Chinese data Thursday night, Chinese retail sales, industrial production. And then on Friday, we have Eurozone flash GDP releases, but this, I think, is the second release. So it's less market moving than usual. So data-wise, we don't have too much going on except for the Eurozone, UK, and Australia. And then it's really going to be U.S. government shutdown headlines. It's really going to be risk on, risk off. And we have a whole bunch of Fed speakers, as my friend Bob Kennedy pointed out. All right, so this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to register for our masterclass on how to make consistent and profitable trades while minimizing risk. We are going to talk about strategies that you can implement. We're going to talk about the importance of market timing. We're going to talk to you about how to determine when you should take or pass a trade, how to pick the best times to trade, how to boost your trade accuracy. I think it's a really good, kind of refresher. So make sure you join us completely free on Thursday at 7:30 a.m. If you can't make it, don't worry. Register. We'll send you the recording. Make sure you join that. I also want you to join our free trading community. Lots of really great stuff there. Boris, if you can pop up the join trading community. We also have the link to the register, the masterclass that we'll put up in the community as well. Got lots of things going on in the community that we're talking about. So make sure you join our free trading community. And then lastly, check out my brand new website, Prop Trader Edge, where you get really valuable trading tips and motivation, like learn. And every day we've got a new quote: learn from your losses because they're the tuition you pay for your success. So if you want to keep motivated, you want to learn how these traders are becoming funded, getting, doing well in prop, things like that, make sure you join this free newsletter, Prop Trader Edge. Those are the three things that I want you to do. And now I'd like to take any questions and, welcome Boris to our stream for live trading. All right, what have we got? Yes, we have a couple of Fed speaks today. Germans are gloomy about the economic prospects. We'll have to see, because I agree they should be gloomy. Factory orders was terrible, but the data hasn't been that bad. PMIs haven't been that bad. Maybe the businesses are benefiting from more activity with China as China kind of diversifies. So that could be something as well. All right, you guys ready to rock and roll with Boris? Let's get some tunes in, Boris. Get set for the mood.
We're going to get started. Okay, we're going to say goodbye to Kay, and we're going to change our layouts and everything. Thank you, Kay, for everything. We'll see you later. All right, guys, let me just change the layouts here. Hang on a second, so that you guys can work with me one more. Okay, I'm gonna have some technical difficulties for a second here, guys. So give me just 1 second. I'm gonna put the screen on. All right, we're gonna watch the screens. Give me a minute. I'll be back in a minute. I gotta do a few things, and I'll come back. You guys just watch the screen.
Scalping trend, we making bread, ooh yeah, for real. Go with our feet up, trading futures. Getting paid, getting paid, getting paid, getting paid. Ooh yeah, to the moon. Getting paid, getting paid, getting paid with our feet up. Getting paid, getting paid, getting paid, getting paid. They go back there. Market, ooh yeah. We the market. Funky market, scalping trend. We making bread, ooh yeah.
All right.
With our feet up, trading futures.
Hi guys. Sorry, it took a few seconds here. I had to change the banners because otherwise you aren't going to be able to see any of the screens that are going on. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Somebody give me a sound check, mic check. Let me know if everything is good. I think I should be okay. Let me look on YouTube here to make sure that the screen is good. I think I look good. Yep. Good morning. Am I ready to move to Zurich? No, not quite yet, Adam. I've been to Zurich. It's a beautiful city, but I blow my brains out of boredom. No, we're going to stay in New York. We're going to fight the good fight. Good morning, guys. Good morning. How's everybody doing? A lot of stuff to share with you. A lot of cool stuff. Apex is still 70% off. So first order of business I'm actually going to do is let's go and buy an Apex account. I'm going to show you how to buy an Apex account because I want everybody to take advantage of this. We still have, I think, like another day or two to try to get this thing funded fast. So maybe we'll try and get that done. You just need, let me just do my authenticator app just over here. Just get in. Sorry, 546462. 546462. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to buy a. Let's buy a Trade-Evate 50,000. We can also buy well charts. Either way, just click this. Very, very important part. Make sure you say BK Save, otherwise you won't get the discount, right? Payment system. I request this. Just all very, very simple micro. It's 187 full price, but it's going to be a massive discount. You're going to see the discount. Look at that. It's only 56 bucks on this. I'm going to take the screen off so you guys don't see my credit card info. Right? Do you guys see my credit card info now? No, you shouldn't be able to see it. Okay, let me just do that. Let me go buy it. Okay. And now we're back in business, and I bought it, and that's it. It's going to take just a couple of seconds to set up, and then we'll be good to go on that. So I'll put that into play as just kind of our non-funded account. But on wealth charts, it's all funded accounts. So we're going to trade those as the day progresses. We actually have a setup here in gold, but I'm going to not take anything because it's 9:30 in the morning. Let's let the volatility kind of shake itself out. So okay. All right, very good. Everybody's doing well. Okay, great. All right, so here's the key thing that I kind of wanted to focus on today. We've been what I call pickpocketing the market, right? We've been just scalping the market with very, very short but incredibly high probability setups. And the primary setup, the bread and butter setup that I love to do is once we break a new slice of trend. So green slice over here would be a new slice, a red slice would be a new slice. As soon as we have two concurrent white on the upside candles or two concurrent purple sides to the downside candles, that's our trigger. That's the beginning of trend slice. Second white confirms to us that there's buying pressure, buying power, and we wait for the candle to close and go long. Like right now, this is am I in the 114 account? I am in the 114 account. We are have a potential possibility. Let's just go large here over here on the since didn't quite do it. We stay patient and see if the next candle is going to be white and gets us to trade. But what I wanted to kind of share with you is we've been trading this. I've realized that when it comes to NASDAQ, which is really where the money is at, gold is interesting, but gold is a much more difficult product to trade. NASDAQ, especially to the upside, has just been money, money, money. If you took this trade, that was a winner. If you took this trade, that was a winner. If you took if you took this trade, that was a winner. Correct. The first two, boom. You limit yourself to the first trade in slice. You absolutely have an 88% chance of success over a day in terms of picking up winning trades. You can continue trying to trade through the slice, but of course, the more trades you take, the lower your probability of success. So here, this is the first signal that we have. But here's what I want to show you. Our stops and targets before New York opens up were 5 points, 20 points. But when New York opens up, we're actually going to go to 10 points, 40 points. And the reason we're going to do this is because volatility in New York really, really expands. By New York, I mean New York Open. Once we trade real market hours in New York Open, volatility expands, and we want to trade 10 target, 40 stop, not 5 target, 20 stop. So I will be trying to trade this right now. Let's see if we can. I'm just waiting for obviously for the trade for the candle to complete because I want to make sure that the candle stays white. I'm going to enter this candle if it does stay white. All right, I'm going to get long here. So here's my position. Targeting is going to be 620, and my stop will be 70. So let's see if we can make the target here. And we can I can go a little bit off the thing, and you can see me. For some reason, this is thing. So I'm in a 1025, and the target will be 2025, right over here on the trade. That's the first breakout trade in the trend slice. The reason, obviously, why hopefully this is a good trade. Let's see if we can make the target. We need 20, 25, and we're done. And nice and clean trade, 10 points. I used a 2-lot position on this particular thing. Account is done. I move on to the next account. 18 account. Let me come back and look for new opportunities if there are any down the road. I don't know why. You know what? All right, I'll find that out later. Anyways, so now there's a secondary push, right? So we have the first two, confirmatory trade. Do we trade this trade? We could, but it's less of an confidence trade. First of all, it goes away. But if if it stays, let's trade it with just a one size, not a two size, to trade. No, Dave, I just showed you 4160. Why is it not? I mean, I literally show this on the screens. Do you not see this? It's a 4160. Look at me. 4160. Is it not visible? 4160, 4160, 4160, 4160, 4160. Okay? That's what we do. Close. Oops. Okay. All right. So first trade worked out beautifully. Now we're in a next account, because the way we're going to trade is we're going to take one focus setup per account and then move on to the next account. That's the best way to control both risk and structure across all accounts. That's how that's how we manage to pickpocket as many people in the crowd as possible with the market, and put the money put the scalp profits into our accounts. Why would your wealth charts be different price in NASDAQ or gold than mine? I don't know. That's something you got to ask wealth charts about. Maybe you don't have the December contract. I don't know what you have. I can't read your mind or look at your wealth charts thing. Make sure you have the E-mini December 25. That's what I'm trading. Lee, great question. Lee is asking the right question. The answer is no. They don't have to be consecutive. Just need to be concurrent or sequential. Is the right word, sequential? I always forget what the right word to describe it. Where they got to be inside a sequence, but they don't have to be one after the other. As long as the sequence is legit, because think of what we're doing. We are buying power to the upside. We're selling power to the downside. Now, buying power to the upside is even more effective when it's with a big trend. We have the 200 period SMA, the 8 SMA, so it's a powerful trend. It's running up. Now we have more power to the upside, right? We have another white candle over here. We're going to take this trade in the 18 account, assuming this white candle holds. Everybody seeing my charts now? It's $1.23 on the time frame. So we still got a long way to go to see if this candle holds. Meantime, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just going to check if my TradeAvate account has been set up. Yeah, it has. Okay, cool. All right, so my TradeAvate account has been set up, and we can, let me see if I can do this. TradeAvate, log out, log in. Let's go to 73. Okay, so we do have that, so we can use that as well, just as an example. This is 34 seconds. I'm actually let's do this on TradeAvate on my non-funded account, just to show you the structure of what I'm going to do here. If this holds, this is really, it's the key is it's got to hold. You see, by the way, how right away volatility really expands, right? You get little triangles. That's why you want to go 4120 at least on this. Okay, buy market. I'm in here. It's actually 160. So, so first of all, just to organize this, the close here was 33.50. So I need to put myself to 43.50. as my target to be accurately on target. And then 33.50 would be 93.50, I believe, as my stop. Right? 40, whatever, 93.75, close enough. So I'm just adjusting this manually right now in a in a post environment because my entry was just a little bit higher than the proper entry on the candle, and the whole idea is it's 10 points from the candle close, not 10 points from my execution, because I don't get the push. Oh, wait a minute, hold on a second. This is no, that's right. Okay, and I'm done. Whatever. So a good clean 10-point trade in my account should have been about $200 trade because I traded 10 contracts. Remember, this is the non-funded account, so I'm willing to take larger risks. And one of the things I was going to say to you is if you want to trade super aggressive, right? Super aggressive. This wasn't the trade to do because this was the second trade in the cycle. But the first trade in the cycle, you have like an 85% chance that it's going to be a good trade. You want to get crazy, you trade like 5 large NASDAQs, 50 micros. I actually, what I do is I don't really care about commission. I trade micros only just to basically keep myself from trading, the big accounts so that I don't blow myself up really fast. So if I'm trading 5 micros, 10 points forward, right? That is $1,000 in that one trade. So imagine a situation where I hunt 2 quality setups like this with trend, 2 double whites with on the beginning of the slice, all the things set up. I hit 2 trades. I'm now 2/3 to target in probably an hour and a half without any news, without any straddles, without anything else. That's how you fund the accounts super fast using BFF dots and scalping. Right now, yeah, if you're wrong, you're gonna blow it up, but you have an 8.5% chance of you being right, especially when you're taking the first breakout move in the slice on a 1040 basis. So this creates lots of interesting opportunities. Obviously, you trade small for your funded, but you can trade super large for your non-funded and get done. It makes it really expensive. How do you, so when you're talking about the first in the sequence of the mean, you mean, what I mean by first is, let me annotate this on TradingView charts because it's really easy to see. So first of all, you see how, let's do this. You see how we go from red to green, right? Fresh green slice. That's a fresh green slice. Everybody give me a couple of yeses in the room to make sure that you guys are actually understanding what I'm saying. A green slice is a fresh, positive trend slope, especially this is an uptrend, right? Because we're in an uptrend, right? So this is to the strength of this uptrend, right? So that's a fresh green slice. That's step 1. You got a green slice. Then what I'm looking for is 2 white candles, the first 2 white candles in that green slice. That is the highest probability trade I'm going to take. That's the one that's going to be 9 out of 8 trades are going to result in profit on a 1040 or a 520, depending on what time, right? So all I need to do is trade with trend. So let me just sort of show you. Winner, winner, winner. There are three instances of this in the last 2 hours, 100% hit rate. So if I'm trading a 50,000 and I'm doing a 5 contract large, 50 micro contracts, that's $1,000 on that trade. Boom, I'm done, right? It's actually, is it even more? What am I doing? It's 200. No, that's right. It's $1,000 on it. It's $1,000 on a 1040, and it's $500 on a 520. But let's imagine I'm just doing this, during New York hours. I'm going to trade my large pre-funded account, New York hours. I'm going to try to find great setup, second great setup. So now I'm 2,000 to the good. And if I want to, if I want to really, play Russian roulette, I try to go for a third one, and I hit the whole thing in 3 trades. Or I peel back and I go to just maybe one mini contract, which is 10 micros, and I trade like I trade $100 trades. No, I trade $200 trades, and then I need like 5 trades. Maybe take me a day or two to kind of get me to target. But whichever way you want to do it, there's very, very high confidence that if you're just trading with trend, these breakout candles during high quality New York session, you can hit 3 trades in a row and you're done. You're funded, basically. That's it. So that's what I'm talking about when I'm doing this. No, it does not mean that. Again, when I say point does not mean tick. When I say point, 10 points, 40 points is 40 ticks, 160 ticks. Okay? Absolutely critical for anybody who's listening to me to learn the basic foundation of how to trade. Ticks are not points. Points are not ticks. Learn how to translate those things. Okay? So 10 points is 40 ticks. 40 points is 160 ticks. You can literally see me set that up in the in well charts. I just did that literally for 5 minutes beforehand. 3 trades and funded, 5, 50 micros or 5 minis. I trade the micros just to keep myself honest. All right, let's go back to wealth charts. And now now we don't really have any setups, which is fine. Let's go to look at gold. See if gold has anything for us. And gold, by the way, is much more problematic. Like everything I tell you about NASDAQ is much more difficult to do with gold, because gold is you see gold will have, with trend, you'll have these beautiful, beautiful runs, and then they just die. So you have you could trade fresh slice, boom, this works really, really well, right? Fresh slice to the downside, counter trend, okay, this works really, really well. Then, actually, you know what? I take it back. This is actually not a signal, so therefore it's not really gold. This actually was okay. Gold is, as long as you stay very, very disciplined with gold, which means that you have the first signal and you wait until the second signal over here. You have to wait maybe another 20 minutes before you can really hit it hard. You can actually trade with gold. With gold, the only way to trade any of this, because gold is perpetually volatile, is 2 points, 6 points, or 20 ticks, 60 ticks. You can't do this with a 1-3. It's just a losing proposition. So again, I generally, every losing trade I had today was in gold. Gold is just a much harder trade to do. When you hit it right, you can do well with it, but it's a much more problematic trade because gold is just kind of it doesn't have the kind of continuity, smooth continuity that NASDAQ does. But if you're just looking for the first trade out of the gate, this worked and this worked. That's all you need to do. But now you haven't had a signal in like 3 hours that is a proper signal in gold. And so I would just take it as it comes. The key thing to doing this well is to really wait for that signal. To just wait for that signal. Now, if you're kind of like a momentum trader and you say, screw it, I think I'm gonna trade the full slice until I die. So I take the first 2, I win. I take the next white, I win. I take the next white, I win. Maybe on a couple of whites, I get hit. I just keep going until I lose, right? In this particular case with gold, I think the only time you lost was on this last big candle over here. So you could have had 6 or 7 consecutive trades. And again, here you could have pressed it and you said, I'm gonna just take it until I win or die. And you could have taken, 3 first trade, second trade, third trade. You would have been funded just on that trend alone. Same thing over here. I think I'm not sure if this one would have retraced you back. This was what, 4102. How high did it go against you? 06. No, you would have survived it. It went 4 against you, and you had a 6. You had a 6 leeway, so you would have made it. Yeah. But you need that wide stop. Right? You just need that wide stop. I don't trade ES, not because this doesn't work on ES. This works perfectly well on the ES. I haven't figured out what the stops and targets are on the ES. It's just because you can only focus on 1 or 2. Remember, this is a super high accuracy strategy, and to have high accuracy, you need high focus. So yeah, you could have 1,000. This can work on almost anything if you focus on it. But there's only so much focus you can have. Like right now, we're just going to stick to gold and NASDAQ and see what opportunities there are to trade there. But you can trade this on any of these things. You can also trade them on a much larger possibility. Keith was talking to me about it. I was saying, guys, like remember I told you there was going to be a turn in NASDAQ. I left you guys on Friday. I said there's going to be a turn. You're going to have higher whites, right, on the bottom. So like, how do you know something is a turn using dots? Let me show you. It's super easy, super easy. You know how you know something is a turn in dots? I just have to learn. I really got to learn how to use. I don't have my Welch has these really great annotations, but I think hang on, let me find this. Where's this? Drawing tools, and then within text. Is it within text? I always forget. Shapes. No, it's not shapes. Is it text? Measuring tools. I always forget where the objects. Okay, sorry. Drawing tools, shapes, objects. Right. Okay. So cell. Okay. This is how you know. Can I move this? Why isn't it moving? Okay. This is how you know something is a turn trade. You need a lower purple, right? Once you have the purples kind of make a V shape, right? So if you go here, if you have this kind of a formation, let's just say, oops. All right. Is this, maybe can I copy this? Yeah, copy this. And then copy this one more time. Okay. So just kind of show you. Once you get that kind of a inverse V formation, right? That's your first clue that there is a possible turn trade in gold, right? When you're doing it. Conversely, imagine we have a white candle here, right? If we get a white candle here, we're going to have a V-shaped formation that gives us a really strong indication there's a turn trade the other way, which you can then trade on a swing basis. So if you're trading this on a swing basis, basically you're short here at 99, the stop is somewhere at 13, right? It's a big stop, but you're targeting much larger moves. You're targeting like a 10-point move, and of course this gives you like a 20-point move almost that you could have targeted on a longer term basis. So that is what's so cool about dots is not just a way to pickpocket the market and scalp it, but if you wanted to use the structure of dots to find critical turns in the market, you absolutely could, because the dots don't lie. They really give you incredibly great anchor points, right? So here we have a cell, and let me just let me have so much. Now that I discovered how to do drawing tools and objects, shapes, objects, let me show you the buys. So oops, I mean, it's not a buy, but you guys get the idea. It's so this, and if we get a white, if we get come on baby, why can't I do this? Okay, get out. Okay, I can't grab this. Let me delete this. Okay, this copy. I can't make this move. I don't know why it's not moving. Oh my God, this is so annoying. Did I hit magnet? Oh, that's why I hit magnet probably. Okay. Get out. No, I don't know. Anyways, you gotta get the idea. You see this on. You would see this on TradingView with gold. I can just annotate it for you very, very easily, right? Like this, right? So, 1, 2, and if there was a third white over here somewhere around line, that would be a bottoming formation in gold. And if you wanted to, if you wanted to trade that, then you'd be good. All right, let's come back to regular view here. No signals anywhere here, so right now we're just watching the market. Lots of questions here. Okay. For a table on your strategy, which determines whether I use 1.326. I'm going to skip the table. That's a coaching question. What if we copy the trades on other accounts instead of switching to between accounts? You could do that too. I'm sort of against copy trading because obviously the whole idea is you want to distribute risk, right? If you copy trades, you're actually amplifying risk. If you're doing well, you're doing great. But let's say you copied 5 accounts and the trade goes wrong. Now you lost 5 accounts. Whereas if you're just doing 1 account at a time, you have 4 accounts that are still alive that you can keep going alive. It's just a philosophical approach. Do you want to press the game fully, or do you want to trade defensively and maintain your accounts? It's completely up to you and how you want to do it. I don't have it's just the philosophical differences. Does anyone here trade NQ using only regular trading hours? I've been doing that lately. The stress is down, optimism is up. Ears don't ring, less noise, and my head doesn't spin. That's great attitude. My point is, you can see that during regular hours, it's just that a lot of people, don't necessarily have the time to trade New York hours. But yes, optimally to trade this well, you just trade New York hours for, let's say, from 8 o'clock in the morning until 11:30 in the afternoon. You have the best opportunity for quality trades in NASDAQ or or even gold for that matter, but certainly NASDAQ. Let's put this over here. Let's put this MGC. I just want to have NASDAQ up top here. So that's a good point. I don't know what that means. On gold, if the purple dot and the next candle is green candle, does that mean a long-term trend? It could, but it's not. It's a fake out candle quite a lot. Like what I was trying to show you, sort of like I wanted to show you today the absolute highest probability trades where you have like an 85% conviction on scalp, and I can't say 85% conviction on swing because I really don't trade swing and I haven't handicapped these trades, but I have just watching it anecdotally. You can really see it. Like even here, okay. Let me just sort of show you here. I'll show this to you on here's the thing that if you're eyeballing swing conditions, watch this. What you're looking for is the following structure: white, higher white. That's what you're eyeballing, right? You're eyeballing this kind of a V-shaped move, right? If this is going to be a terrible, but what you're eyeballing is this check mark move, right? When you can have that check mark move, you have a reasonable thing. Now, of course, how would you handicap this trade? This trade, you're coming in over here at 19. Your stop has got to be all the way underneath here. That's a big stop. It's basically a 100-point stop. So you got to be doing maybe 1 micro, 50-point target first. But if you're not interested in, or if you're just like, Boris, your scalping is fucking insane. I can't trade for 10 points like a dopamine-addled monkey. I want a more intelligent, durable setup. That's the setup. It's the higher, lower, higher, higher, lower, higher, higher, lower, higher, and it's obviously evident on just the pure trend setup, but it's also evident on a turn setup. It's the same concept. It's just kind of that whole concept of, we test the lows, we come back up, we make higher lows. The dots really, really give you incredibly easy visual clue to making money, scalp or swing. Okay, you guys vibing on all of this, right? So here's where things get a little bit get a little bit interesting too. When I'm looking over here, there's the tiniest sliver of pause, right? So the question is, do we have a new green slice, and does that require 2 white candles in order for me to even get interested in a trade? Or is this really the continuation move of this whole big green slice move, and the next white candle is really a part of this whole big trend continuation, and I can trade it? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to I generally make the rule that this is not a legitimate switch of trend, because you know what is a legitimate switch of trend? Legitimate switch of trend is when I have red dots in between or purple dots in between. I don't have any red dots in between. This is just a pause. So if this thing goes white, which it does, we're gonna trade my non-funded account here. We'll trade my non-funded account here if it goes white. And again, I'm only going to trade small. I'm not going to trade large, because this is not the first in a sequence. This is kind of the third or the fourth. So I don't want to burn. I don't want to burn the whole. If I'm wrong, I burn the whole account. I'm not going to try and go for 1,000 profit, but I'll go for 100 profit. Because if it doesn't work, it's only 400 against me, and that's fine. I'm going to survive it. QTR, have fun peeing in a cup. I hope you pass your drug test. You know what's funny? If you eat a poppy seed bagel, truth, I swear to God, I don't think this is a wives' tale. If you eat a poppy seed bagel, you actually could test positive for drugs. Is that true? Is there any doctor in the audience that can tell me that I'm full of shit? But I heard that's really true. That if you had a poppy seed bagel before you do your PP test, it becomes a drug. You could fail the drug test. Yeah, Ben says it's true. How many Apex accounts do we get when you buy the coaching? It's completely contingent on Apex, right? So whatever their discount is, it's a fixed refund. Whatever you can fit into it. Sometimes you can fit 3, sometimes you can fit 2, sometimes you can fit 4. It's whatever's their discount. Oh, was it Seinfeld episode? So it must be true, right? Okay, that's true. That's funny. Tar opiates. There we go. Wow, there's a lot more expertise in this room about drug tests than I expected. Very, very. You should be ashamed of all of you guys. No, I'm just kidding. I'm actually like one of those people. I don't know. Like, I'm actually curious. Let's do a completely non-trading poll today. Just for shits and giggles today. Let's do this poll. This is going to be interesting because I'm really, really curious. Because this is funny. I do not drink at all. Do not drink alcohol. I guess alcohol. I mean alcohol at all. Okay. True. This is a true/false question. And by the way, you can say true if you basically drink alcohol like once a year. I'm just really, really curious. And it's not a judgment poll. I'm just I'm a person who just doesn't like alcohol. Don't really process it. In fact, the only thing I can really, really like as far as alcohol is sake. I love hot sake, but nothing else. And I'm Russian. I am Russian by birth, and I just can't fucking stand alcohol for the most part. So I almost never drink. So I'm just really, really curious how rare that is amongst everybody in the room. So everybody chime in. Come on, it's Monday. Let's have a little fun. I'm watching Nas here to see if we got any clues. Let's go over here to. Oh, okay. So that's actually interesting. So now gold signaling to us the first white one, right? The first white candle in a slice. So let's just go big on gold for a second. I really haven't done a lot of gold trades, but in this particular account, and what I will do with gold is I'm going to trade small. I don't love gold, but let's if this is going to be a second white, we're going to trade this with a, again, 2060. Let me go to my mic, to my 2060, right? That's going to be my structure on this. I need to have a second white. It's moving up through the ranks. Let's see if it wants to hold, and we'll trade it. I'll trade that in. Is it in the 14? No, I want to trade this in the 18 because I already took the 14 account. I already made money in the 14 account. Okay, so we'll just watch this on a thing. Alcohol drinks me. That's funny. That's funny. You drink athletic beer? Oh, so this is really, really cool. All right, this is how much of a nerd I am, right? You're trucking, so no alcohol, no drugs, no cigarettes, very little coffee. Really? If truck stuff has decaf, why? Oh, I can drink. This is my one drug of choice. All right. I still don't have the free accounts, and I'm hoping I'll have a couple of free accounts. But this is the free account question of the day. Once I get them, whoever gets this right, you have like the next 60 seconds to put in your answers. Whoever comes in closest wins this. How many cups of espresso does Boris have every day? Put in your numbers. Closest person. When I get the free accounts, I'll give you the codes. Because that is my one vice. All right, I'm seeing 6, I'm seeing 8, I'm seeing 5 to 10, I'm seeing 6, I'm seeing 10s, seeing 10s. We're gonna give it like another 10 more seconds. 12s. I'm seeing 10s. You can't overshoot. Okay, it's got to be under. It's got to be closest under. So this, because otherwise it becomes really, really ridiculous. So you know who's the winner? The winner is this gentleman over here. Hold on. All right, stop all the clicks. This gentleman over here. Wait, hold on. No, not this gentleman. Sorry. This one. Go bit. When I get the free accounts. Although you changed your number, dude. You cheated, my friend. You straddled me. You straddled. Gopit did 4. He did 4 and 13. All right. I'm sorry. I got to take it away because you straddled. So the next one there, Jerry was 12. He's closest. I literally trade. Have between 14 to 16 cups of coffee a day, and I can go to sleep. Totally well. All right, Jerry wins it. I'm sorry, Gobit. Gobit, I tell you what, when I get the free accounts, Jerry and you, I'll give you guys. I'll send you guys. Just send me a note to contact at bktraders.com. TR says if you drink that much caffeine, essentially, yeah, I have this. I have is no immunity for alcohol, but I have total immunity for. I can drink double espresso, go to sleep in half an hour. You need sleeping pills. Yeah, Kathy. Here's a funny part. Kathy, like we're having lunch, and she will not have an espresso because then she says she stays jittery up all night long. Right? Yeah, I'm Russian, but my name is German. Yeah, it's my last name is my stepfather's name, who adopted me legally. That's not my original name. You guys want to know what guys want to know what my original name is? This will be amusing to everybody. I guarantee you I'm related to him somehow, somewhere. You know what my original name in Russian was? It was Kushnir. Who else? What does that sound like? Jared Kushner. I guarantee you somewhere down the road, our families probably had a connection. That was my Russian name. Yeah. Well, we're East Europeans, right, George? So we have immunity. We're like, you can't kill us, right? All right, let's see what's going on over here in nothing. No signals. Gold died. So here's the point. This is why you wait for the second, right? Because the first limps out half the time, right? It just kind of dies, right? And in fact, I got to tell you, if you guys want to be super degenerate, if you're just kind of trading for fun, for shits and giggles, the fade trade, this is actually a super interesting trade. I love this trade, especially in gold. If you have, so the way you do this is you kind of set this up the other way. You have the first white, and if you have two candles where it doesn't confirm and it doesn't make fresh highs, there's a real good probability that that's actually a fade trade. So if you shorted this, you actually had some really, really strong chances of doing it. Like, watch this again. Let me show this to you on the charts, because that is actually a super cool subject. The great thing about dots is it's so interesting from so many different perspectives. Let me, can I go, where's the full screen on this? Oh, here it is, okay. All right, let me show you this again. Let me show you this concept again, because here on this, huge bop, right? Two candles that don't make a fresh high. If you short over here, boom and ba-dum. Look at this. Look how easy. It's as good a fade signal as it is a continuation signal if you know how to read this. And that's my whole point. The more you guys get involved, the more you guys start trading dots, the more you start watching dots, so many possibilities for interesting trade ideas come up in the structure. And you just have to be patient to let that particular pattern develop, and you can hit them, hit them where they ain't, and and really hit some good trades. So we're sort of slowed down, which is fine. There literally is nothing to do because the market is doing nothing. That's the greatest thing about dots, right? When the market is doing nothing, they show you nothing to do, which is exactly what you want. What was the results for the alcohol poll? Great question. Let's see. Actually, look at this. Half the group does not really drink alcohol. Look at you guys. You're teetotalers. Wow. Look at you. Very nice. No, it doesn't matter. I don't think, like, this is not a poll you could do in Australia or UK, who are all just basically functioning alcoholics. I mean, to this day, I'll tell you a funny story, because nothing is going on in the market. So I'll tell you this funny story. So when we were working for GFT, right? The GFT UK, the GFT European office was in London, in Canary Wharf, right? We had a great guy who was like the head of the office, British guy, and I'd fly from New York to London like every 3 months to talk to the guys. We had seminars, whatever. This is like in the old days when FX was really a lot of fun, and so I'd fly in, and one day, one night, like, he had an American fiance. They lived in Notting Hill. Actually, it was like just almost a cliche and everything else. They were like, hey, we did our shows, everything else. Let's go have a couple of drinks and dinner. And I'm just trying to be social. I'm like, okay, no problem. I'll socially hang out with you and drink. And the evening starts at Bond Street at some kind of a wine bar. And I have like a glass, and these guys have like 2 bottles, and I have like another glass. And then we go to another restaurant, we have dinner, and then we have glass. And so, like, I don't realize it, but I think I must have consumed about a bottle of red wine. So I get to my hotel, and I'm like, like central London, and I'm literally, so I told you guys, I can have 12 cups of coffee, like nothing. My pulse is dead, nothing, right? I have all this wine in me, and I'm literally feeling my heart pump out of my chest. Like I hear it going, patum, patum, patum. And I'm lying in bed, and I'm really not a religious person, but I'm like, God, please, just let me survive this evening. Please, let me wake up tomorrow, and I promise you, I'll never have a drink of alcohol again. It was the funniest fucking thing ever. I was like dying. And I swear to God, after that time, I learned two things. The one, the Brits are basically functioning alcoholics because it had no impact on them whatsoever. They were like just like completely normal. And two, that I literally, should never drink wine again. It was just, crazy, crazy night. But I remember, like, I really remember praying to God, but this was one of those nights. All right, we're watching gold. Gold is kind of trying to pop the white dot here for us. 23 seconds left. If it holds, we'll trade it. It's not supremely good signal, but it's the first double white in a slice. So we're gonna play the game if it stays this way. We're gonna do just one at 2030. Okay, buy. Ooh, it's actually starting to break out. Look at that. Now it's starting to break out. So let's see. We got a 2.6 target. We're targeting. We probably should target this a little bit down. I think because I'm a little bit off. So I'll target this as 1029 because I think the close on this was 1011, 1031. It's close enough. Okay, I'm like 1029. If this thing hits me, I'm good enough on a 2.6 basis. So let's see if this extends and it tries to hit me. Oh, William is asking me what I do after high school. I went to college, William, and I majored in the most useless major in the world, which was economics, which I never practiced. But yes, mainly because I loved college, I loved studying, but I really didn't know what the hell I wanted to do. So economics at that time was just the most bullshit. It was kind of like this quasi combination between liberal arts and a little bit of sciences. So it gave me a veneer of respectability when I graduated. But truly the most bullshit science in the world. Not a social science and not a real science, but a lot of people take themselves very, very seriously in economics. Oh, by the way, all of economics can be boiled down to this. If people feel good about the economy, they spend money and the economy grows. If people feel bad about the economy, they don't spend money and the economy contracts. That's literally the whole model of economic growth and degrowth, right? That's it. And John Maynard Keynes' great insight was, fuck it, juice it up. When people feel bad, just give them free money and they'll spend it and the economy will grow. Like literally making holes in the ground and paying people money for it is how you get the economy out of a funk. Because nothing is real, and the least part of being real is money. So, that's basically economics in a nutshell. All right, I'm trying to. We're holding the gold position. As I said to you, gold is a much tougher trade than the NASDAQ as far as continuity goes. But this is a totally legit trade, and we're trading as 2.6. 1029 is a target. Let's see what it wants to do. Let me just come down on this and see if NASDAQ is doing anything with itself. I think NASDAQ is kind of quiet. The NAS is kind of quiet. Oh, so remember I told you here's 1, 2, 3 NAS, right? 1, 2, 3 NAS. That was a swing setup over here. 1, 2, 3 NAS. So if you took this NAS at 19, stop would be at about 100, right? You had 100 stop. This is a legit upside NAS trade over here on the move here. Oh, you're a senior in high school? God, you really don't want advice from me. I'm like, I'm the worst. Honestly, I think the key thing is just to have an open mind. They just enjoy learning. You don't really know what you're going to do, what you like, until you kind of make yourself open to a whole bunch of different things. And look, this is why I traded small, right? Because gold is just a piece of shit. It's just very, very hard to trade continuity in gold. It's one step forwards, 2 steps backwards. Whereas NASDAQ is a much, much better continuity instrument. We took the trade because it was a legitimate setup, but it's just dying, right? It didn't have that. They couldn't bring it up a little bit further. There was also a big gap between these two white candles, right? So all of these things are just red flags to why this is, as I said to you, a trade that requires minimal risk, because it doesn't really offer great rewards right now. So this is a failure. You just, if this thing stops me out, this is going to be like, there were, I think it was only one or two double candle failures, but they were all in gold. Let me see. No, here's the double. This is a double failure to the downside in gold. This one is not a double failure. This one is a success. This is a success. So yes, there was already one failure to the downside, and now this is the first gold failure to the upside. Double failure to the upside. I think, maybe I'm a little premature, but I have zero faith that this thing is gonna rally for us. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know about the $2,000 stimmy. First of all, is that universal? Is he giving it to everybody, or is he just giving it to, like, if you make 100,000 or less? Like, I don't even know the terms of this thing. Yeah. Is that going to be our stimmy check to buy more Apex accounts? Is that what we're going to do with it? Because we're going to be very responsible human beings. I could make a moral argument that it's far better to take $2,000 stimmies and trade and buy Apex accounts than it is to, like, burn it on a pair of shoes or a basket. See, we go down. So we got taken out on the trade. This is this second double candle that doesn't continue in gold, and you can see that the instrument is not that, it just doesn't have a lot of continuity, which is why very, very glad I traded this small, so it didn't really hurt me that badly on the P&L. But we don't, we just don't have any setups right now. Now, NAS is, slowly trading. Remember, this is a continuity slice. I consider this all a green slice. So if I get a white on NAS, I'm going to trade it. I'm definitely going to trade it. But I need a white candle. I need the candle to kind of hold the highs here, which so far it's not doing. All right, we're going to end the poll. Let's see what's going on over here. Nothing, right? We don't have a lot of continuity, not a lot of stuff. Now here's where it gets interesting, right? Purple, high purple. What if we get a low purple? That could be a reversal, right? That could be a reversal swing. It's a really interesting swing. By the way, if you had traded this to the long side, right? 1, 2, 3, right? You're in over here at like 600, and the stop was going to be 500, right? So the first target would be like 50 points forward, right? So if you buy this, or whatever, it's 619, you're looking for about 69, which is like right over here. You would have taken half out. You could have easily taken half out here, and on a swing basis, which would have been very, very cool. I may just do one, because I have so many accounts on wealth charts. We may just do one just as a dedicated swing account, and I'll try to see if I could pick swing trades during the morning session. Exactly this kind of a high, low, high, or low, high, low structures for us to trade opportunities. For example, gold is also very, very, gold in many ways is really, really clean on swing trades. So here gold is setting up for if I get a lower lower purple, that's a swing to the downside on gold. Yeah, it's a little, we're a little bit quiet here. Not much going on. What's it? Oh, it's 10:30. All right, cool. So, anything else on your mind, guys? Any thoughts? Let me put all the links in here for everybody. Our friends at Apex, be sure to do that. Tomorrow, I am going to tomorrow night. I'm going to try to trade with Think. Okay, we're going to try to trade CFDs. I have a really cool tool that I developed to trade on MT5 if you want to do that, and we can also trade them on TradingView. So I'm gonna try and see if we can set up the accounts today properly, and I'll show you how to trade CFDs on MT5 or on TradingView with Think if you guys want to trade something different, and also even trade something like you could actually somebody was talking about trading Bitcoin. I traded Bitcoin over the weekend with this tool, and it was awesome. You have to trade it on a 5-minute chart because it's a thing, but it really works on the double candles. Man, it worked really great. Bitcoin was just like trading great. So yeah, absolutely. So for those of you guys who are CFD traders, this is really, this will be very useful. Oh, I got all excited, but it's not a purple candle. So first, purple to the downside. So we have another opportunity here to try to trade gold if we get a second purple to the downside, and see if he wants to torture us again. Meantime, NASDAQ is just showing us nothing right now that's tradable. So we just we stay tight. We just wait till we get a signal. Is the big red line 200? It is. It's not a VWAP. It's not a VWAP. By the way, do you know how to? This is the only way you know that I'm not a Native American speaker. This is like if you wanted to do a CIA test on me, if I was a Russian spy, you'd make me say VWAP 10 times over. Like it's super hard for an East European to say VW in one single syllable, like VWAP. I can do it, but I have to literally mentally prepare. I can't do this subconsciously. That's why you see me. I always go VWAP. That's the only way I slip. But no, I don't even need we don't even need the VWAP. It's look, it's all about just the directional conditionality. What tool? You mean? I mean, it's a. I'll show it tomorrow. Are you talking about like what tool I have for Think to trade with? It's just a one-click trader tool. It lets you place trades with one single click. It's really cool. Man, look at we've been trading. Look how tight we got. We've been trading like 10-point candles for the last hour. Just nothing going on here, right? Everything totally tightened up. Oh, and let me put the coaching link here for everybody who wants coaching. Is there anybody in the room right now who signed up as just a regular BK member? VWAP, what is VWAP? It's a volume weighted average price. It's just a way to create a moving average based upon volume execution. Okay, look, guys, let's give this another shot, right? Here's gold, 21 seconds left. Right, I'm going to be a glutton for punishment. If this stays, it's got to stay purple. 13, 14 seconds left. I'm not moving until this candle closes, because it's got to really prove to me that it's a sell candle. 4, 3, 2, 1, sell. All right, I'm short here. It's a legitimate entry, good entry. Now we see if it has a little continuity. target is 89.4. The close on this was 91.3, so it should be 89.3. Well, actually, 89.5 is fine. It's fine. I'm a better target than I should be, so it's okay. Let me do this. Where's my? What happened to my? Oh, here it is. Wait, no. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to learn how to use these. So if I went this way, why? Okay, why is? Oh, look at that! There's a big spike out, and then it came back down into our direction, right? So starting to move in our direction. Where is the? Oh man, I was looking for the ladder. I don't know what I just did with a ladder. Oh man, this came super close. That's a bummer. Again, gold just comes in super close and then comes back out, just not giving me the duration. Where's my ladder? A doji candle could mean something, but for our purposes, we're just looking at the momentum candles. And once we're in a trade, we're just letting it, go. It's either going to resolve or not resolve. This one was super annoying because it came literally within 5 ticks of our target, and now just completely popped back up, which is very emblematic of like how gold has been trading. It just doesn't extend, right? Momentum-wise, our whole strategy is based upon extension, and gold has just not been extending. That's why I've been very leery of using it because the volatility in it has just kind of really died down. All right, we're just gonna have to. What's really happening, if you look at gold from just an eagle eye point of view, it's essentially a range trade, right? It's basically 86 to 41, up and then down, just up and down. It's not extending the range, and we got caught selling the bottom, buying the top, and it just did not extend enough to to give us the target. And NASDAQ has just been super flat, just not giving us anything because it's just been super flat. But NASDAQ may be starting to actually create a downtrend, right? So NASDAQ is starting to show a purple. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to leave gold alone. I'm going to go to the 20 account. And if NASDAQ comes down, gives us a double purple, we'll be able to short that. The caution triangle is just telling you that the volatility has expanded. All right, NASDAQ is starting to maybe accelerate to the downside. Let's see if it wants to give us any signals. Nope, so far no purples at all, but it was teasing it. By the way, those of you guys who are looking at swing trades, right? Keep an eye on gold here. Higher, higher. Do we get a lower purple dot? If this thing starts to flush down to the 480, 4,088, starts coming back down, is that going to create a swing, a swing short signal for us? NASDAQ still kind of very, very quiet here. So this is a little, frustrating, but it is what it is. We can't, we have to sort of stay faithful to our setup. We are having a slow drip down, but it's one of those kind of very, it's kind of things that lulls you into it. They're not closing on the lows, so it's not really giving you any signals until like this is the first signal it's starting to give you, and that's a frustrating part, because if this closed over here, this closed over here, we'll already be in the trade for the downside. But now it's only just now it's starting to show some momentum for us. So we'll see if it continues. All right, maybe the first purple in NAS. Nope, still. All right, let's see what it wants to show us here. Ah, look at that. Market's really, really choppy. No, nobody has control of the price right now. Now, the other interesting thing that's for those of you who are looking for the longer term swing setups, lower, higher, do we start flushing down on a purple trade? That's going to be an interesting trade. Yeah, the volume profile may, somebody's saying volume profile is still showing more buyers. You may be right. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I think we're clearly a little bit overbought here, but we can go much higher on overbought. Oh, hey, I think let's take a look at our gold. Gold is starting to really come in, right? What was my original? What was my account? The 18 account? Oh, look at this. Look at our patience. Our patience paid off. The gold trade actually worked, and we got our money back. So that was just a quick case of just staying mindlessly with his trade until eventually this thing proved itself true. So that's good. That trade really worked nicely. Anybody held that trade with me? Wait, how do I want to get rid of this? Now I got this in full mode. I'm trying to get rid of the full mode. What happened here? I'm really having a hard time with my wealth charts. You know what? Let me refresh. You guys stayed with me? Good job. Good job. Good job. Oh, we're starting. Am I starting to finally move this to the downside? All right. First purple in NASDAQ. Legitimate purple. And gold is starting to, give back that whole big rally. Fresh lows here at the 85. That's actually pretty good. Where am I on the 19? All right, first purple in NASDAQ. So if we get a second purple candle, we're going to try and see if we can short that. Yevgeny is still holding. Good for you, Yevgeny, of course, likes to get a position in, and then just hold on to it like a deer, for dear life. He's probably trading from here, and he's probably looking for this thing to come down to 4,800 or lower. All right, NAS, possibly setting up for a double. Let's go full screen on NAS here. Oh, this is how it goes, like this. 131. Okay, let's go full screen here. And we have, it's a 4160 on NAS. I'm going to go in the 19 account. It's a big drop, big drop. 606 to 85. It really came in. The only thing I hate about this is that we're very close to 100 period SMA, but you don't get to choose your setups. "44 seconds left. Still more really pressing this down now. I'm going to do smaller size just because the retrace risk is much larger here. This candle is huge. Wow, this candle just getting bigger by the moment. Wow. It's not a, should not be taking this trade. I'm not taking this trade, guys. I don't care if it works. This is too much selling, and it's very subject to retrace trade. It doesn't matter if this thing goes down; it's fine. It would have come down. What is it? 51 to 44, whatever. Just too much retrace risk here. There's no need to. I don't need to dive into every single thing. If this works, that's great. I'll wait for a more compact setup. This is so much selling that it was just too much momentum. Now the yellow triangles has to deal with the volatility of the candles. I really got to get rid of the yellow triangles because I think it's almost too hard to explain them until I figure out how to deal with this. Oh, that's good. That's good for you, Ben. The thing is, honestly, when I see something like this, I would go mid-candle. When you see a candle going this hard to the downside, I don't wait till the close. But I didn't want to show you bad habits. So, now I'm just, I didn't do any trades at all. But you can really see, you could just see the kind of massive volatility momentum that comes in like this. All right, so here's now that we've had the move, right? This gets interesting. What if this candle was purple? Then this candle is purple, then yes, I would trade it because you know what that says is that says that there is more selling to be done, that the sellers are not exhausted. Like I was waiting for a retrace. Retrace didn't come, so now I'm okay trying to if this thing comes in as a selling candle, fine, that's great. On the other hand, you guys want to do a little degen trades? On the other hand, what I say about you have a big ass candle move and two candles of it have not made fresh lows, this is probably a pretty good reversal candle. And if you want to just play this on the reversal side, it could be fun. Well, we can do a little bit of this just because it's been super quiet today and I got to go anyways. Let's watch this. If it's a purple candle, I'm going with it. If it's not, I'll trade reversal. "37 seconds left. Let's see what it wants to do." "21 seconds. I'm gonna wait till the candle closes. All right, I'm in. Candle's about to close. Let's see what he wants to do. What's on the close on this? 39. Yeah, that's fine. I'm right there. Let's see if we get a little bit of continuity here. I know we're gonna do. I'm gonna flatten out over here on a small scalp. It's probably gonna go to target, but I got to run. And it just, again, showing you how I thought about all of this, which is that we had momentum. This is one of the reasons why I kind of covered it early, is also because we already had a lot of momentum here, right? And therefore, pressing it even further, your chances really. This was a very, very tough sequence to trade, and I think we did the best with it that we could, which is that we didn't take the big candle because we were afraid of a big retrace, which of course it can certainly have been. Would have been an unnecessary stop. We waited patiently until we saw a secondary kind of continuation. We took the continuation, but then we waited patiently with it, and it was like two candles didn't quite hit our target. We took partial profit, right? Now, in a perfect world, and by the way, now of course it goes to profit. Those of you guys who are like, in a perfect world, you could have taken this, you could have taken that. It all would have been looked good, but you have to kind of play defensively the best you can. Anyways, the thing does hit target, and anybody who held this is positive one way or the other. If you exited early, great. If you exited late, then you hit the full target. And as you can see, NASDAQ is the trade that makes all the difference. So hopefully you guys like that. Tomorrow it's going to be probably a quiet day. So we'll see what we can do. Maybe we'll trade actually smaller targets, 520 instead of 1040. But anyways, enjoy. There's still going to be plenty of setups to go the rest of the day. We might have a full unwind as the day goes. And remember, if you're gonna do degenerate trades, right? If you're gonna do degenerate trades, you need two candles to fail to make fresh lows in order for you to legitimately try to trade the reversal move, right? That's the key thing. So don't commit to any kind of a buy reversal until this. Right now, it's literally all purples and it's all selling. So thank you guys. Thank you so much. Another good trading session. We managed to hit 4 out of 5, with the gold being the only problem child, but everything else worked out really, really well. Okay, I will see everybody. I'll see everybody tomorrow, regular time, 9 o'clock. Everybody enjoy. Bye-bye. Don't forget to sign up for the, let me put the masterclass over here. Hold on. Don't forget to sign up for the masterclass. See you guys later. Bye-bye.